we're going to start this meeting with the Flood and Erosion Control Board meeting of October 19th. All present and accounted for. Can we say the Flood and Erosion Control Board members say their names? I'm here, Becky Bunnell as chair.
Hey, Don Lamberti, vice chair.
And Dick Mahusky, secretary.
Anyone else from Flood and Erosion can say their name.
That's it.
Prue O'Brien, I'm the recording secretary. Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to spend the first 10 minutes of this call doing Flood and Erosion Control Board issues, and then the remaining period of the time will be the Mill Hill Building Committee. Is that correct, Mill Hill Building Committee?
That is correct.
Okay, so let's just quickly move through these items then. Item 1 on call, approval of the September 2021 minutes. Dick Mahusky had sent out a proposed revised, a few edits to the revised minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes?
Yeah, I think you did an excellent job.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as edited?
Okay, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
This is Dick. I second that motion.
Can I have all approved say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the minutes are approved as edited. Moving to item 2 on call, Flood and Erosion Control Board Master Plan, timing and next steps. At this point, I will just give one quick update in terms of the ARPA funding that has been approved by the town. I did circle back with Bill Hurley to understand sort of what the next steps are for one of the 4 ARPA-funded projects, and this is the high-intensity wave action. He said that he is actually working with RACE to put together kind of a proposal format. And I circled back and said, so does that mean then that this has to go out for bid because it is $400,000? And to my understanding, proposals that are over a certain amount are vetted by procurement and do have to go out for multiple bids. And he said he was confirming that. So what he's doing, I believe, is using RACE to help put together the RFP. And my assumption is it will go out for bid, but I will follow up on that.
Okay, sounds good.
And then
I don't have. Yeah, Dick, go ahead.
This is Dick, and I just now sent out the work in progress of our master plan with both the hard projects and topics and the soft projects and topics. So that's a work in progress, and the objective of that on my part is to get that into a shape where it covers everything that's on our plate, and we can go forward from there.
Okay. Anything else on item 2 on call, Flood and Erosion Control Board Master Plan?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay, item 3 we kind of covered in the item 2, which is reviewing ARPA funding next steps.
Right.
So what I don't have a sense of are the other 3 ARPA funded projects. Rooster River, I believe we actually are approved to proceed with the detention basins, and those had already been scoped out. So I don't think there's any action on that. But downtown infrastructure, which was approved for $1.4 million. I do not have any updates on that. I apologize, but I will circle back with Bill Hurley and see what I can get on that. And then the Perry's Green, we did get a report back from one of the Flood and Erosion Control members, Peter Wiswell, that he had reached out to Pequot Yacht Club and, reminded and encouraged them to reach out to Bill Hurley so that we could coordinate efforts so we could cost share any savings that came from town infrastructure improvements as well as Pequot Yacht Club private improvements, and we could maybe have some cost savings if we merge the 2 projects. So I believe that that will happen, and that would be the action on the Perry's Green ARPA funding project.
Well, is there a time constraint on Perry's Green with the ARPA money?
All of the ARPA funds have to be spent within 2 years, so there is a back-end time constraint, but I think we have a good sense of what we want to do, so I don't think any of the ARPA projects are at risk because there is a clear scope for each of them. So we just have to make sure that we do the appropriate, steps to get the project in gear and to remediate each of those 4 issues.
Okay. As long as the Yacht Club is in harmony with that, it's fine.
I had spoken with them about 6 months ago, and they had actually approached me from Flood and Erosion and had wanted to coordinate with us, again, to see if there were any opportunities to cost share, because once you get that big equipment in there, it can be expensive to bring it in 2 times for the same area.
Right.
So why not take advantage of the cost opportunity? So I think they would be receptive to this. They were probably about a year out from us, so it may be tough for them to raise their money and get it done. But we do have 2 years to do this, so hopefully we can coordinate and save the town some money.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right, item 4 on call, I'm proposing to defer since Peter Wiswell is not on the call. That was review tax appraisal data and next steps, unless anyone has any comments on that.
No.
And then item 5 on call was review proposed charter commission revisions. So I know that I just sent something out prior to this meeting, and I'm requesting that we try to get a special meeting together. I had briefed the charter commission that Flood and Erosion was preparing a request for a edit to the charter, and I briefly outlined the 3 areas that we are requesting, which is moving to the state statutes of House Bill HB 6441, which was just approved by the governor in July of 2021, and that had specified several areas of expansion for flood and erosion control boards, and that we were proposing that our town charter be amended along several of those lines. So the document I sent out is a letter to the Charter Commission cover note, just explaining which areas we are proposing to expand the remit based upon state statutes, as well as a fairly detailed analysis of what exactly each of those areas represents in the attachment. So we need to kind of set a time for a special meeting. Dick has suggested the first week of November, so I will follow up by email and see if we can get a time for a special meeting, and then I'll appropriately notice that on the town website.
Okay, sounds good.
And just to be clear, this is Dick. Just to be clear, one of the objectives for this special meeting is to have a marked up version of the current town charter with our proposed changes. Is that correct?
Right, and that is the second document that I referenced, or at least the draft of it is what I sent out earlier today.
Right.
And then last item 6 on call is any old or new business. And Dick, if you could particularly we have an Ash Creek update, and we also have the Mill River update. So Dick, if you could do a quick Mill River update, I'll do the Ash Creek, and then we can end our flood and erosion control meeting and let the Mill Hill Building Committee continue.
Okay. My update on the Mill Hill, and this was brought to our attention by Mrs. Marcy Golden, who I believe is on the call here. And Don and I actually went out there to her property and her neighbor's property, and I wrote up a brief report that I just, late this afternoon circulated. So I know it was not in time to digest and discuss in any detail, but it's kind of superficial because I'm just stating what we observed, what we talked about. There is concern about the dam that exists up on the Audubon property at the intersection of Old Academy Road and Mine Hill Road. I have a couple of photographs there just to document what we saw. And the one notable item is the culvert that goes underneath Verna Hill Road. That sustained some kind of effect from the heavy rains after the remnants of Storm Ida. So Bill Hurley has been out there once. He's going to go out there again. So between he and Public Works, they recognize they need to come up with some kind of assessment of what the condition is and a resolution of that circumstance. So there's still work that Flood and Erosion need to do to fully inform ourselves as to the circumstances there with the dam and also with the Browns Brook heavy flows and heavy rains, which seems to mimic what we're seeing over in the Rooster River floodplain. So more rain, heavier rain, floodplains get inundated. So there's more to come on that.
Okay, but Bill Hurley and DPW are evaluating. So that is the next steps and action item is to let the town do their evaluation and then come back to us with a recommendation on how they want to proceed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I know there's members of the public on, if any of them want to speak at this time and have any questions.
I was not understanding the last thing. Is Bill Hurley, are you just talking about the culvert, or are you talking about the whole situation with Browns Brook?
Well, right now, Bill Hurley is concentrating on the culvert situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I mean, I just wondered, as I of course I don't have any solution, but there is the big ravine on Mine Hill and Old Academy, which has so much water going into it from Farmstead Hill Road and from Laurelbrook Lane. And I wondered if actually water is coming all the way down from Congress Street into that ravine and then into the pond and then back into our backyard, which you saw is a very narrow place for all the water for Greenfield Hill. And so I want to, keep this dialogue open, and Becky hasn't seen it yet. I'd love for her to come and get an idea of what we're dealing with. There's a lot of neighbors that are, interested in hearing from you.
So,
yeah,
Dick,
well, as I said,
it seems like what I think the request I'm hearing is to expand beyond just the singular culvert issue, but maybe to look at the holistic system.
Yes.
Is what I'm hearing is the request.
Yes,
Can we expand that request to Bill?
I'm only concerned about the culvert. That's a small piece. That's the most immediate piece because there's a giant culvert laying there that could move in the next rainstorm, but that's a small piece of the problem. And I'm not concerned about the brook. I did get some information. I learned that the name of it, which even Audubon didn't know, was Baldridge Pond Dam, and I have got an ID number on that, and it's considered low risk, but I don't know when it was inspected last. And my question is, when you have a low-risk dam like that somebody looks at, and, it's 3 or 5 feet deep, but then during a big event, we're probably looking at 10 feet of water in there. So, it's concern about those very unusual rain events, whether that's been looked at. But it's more the fact that it seems the more I walk and ride around that all of Greenfield Hill is draining into an 8-foot deep, 8 feet wide little stream in our backyard. And I'm wondering if it even goes as far as Congress Street when I look at the culvert up there that goes across the street, or culvert anyway. Yeah, so let
us take this action, if I could, because we are trying to share this time slot with the Mill Hill Building Committee. We take what you have said. Let us circle back with Bill Hurley, the engineer, and ask him to not just look at the culvert, but also to see when he is able to take a look at the bigger system. And we will be able to hopefully report back, certainly in the next meeting, but possibly before then, depending on when Bill is able to deploy resources to evaluate.
That would be wonderful. And also, the storm drains are all still really, really clogged, and my next
and that you can actually call DPW if you have a storm drain that's clogged. Individual residents should
clogged around here, every single one of them.
I know that's throughout town. We have undersized drains in many areas of town. So if you could call DPW, they're usually very responsive to come out and unclog them. So that is something we would encourage every resident to do. If you have a clogged storm drain, to call DPW, and I have found them very responsive in our neighborhood.
Okay, so my next question would be, if you're going to be having a special meeting and is the public allowed to listen, and how
the public is allowed to special meetings? Yeah, special meetings are posted on the town website. We don't obviously have a date yet. Public is allowed to listen to special meetings. They are, unfortunately, because it is a special meeting, not allowed to comment. But the special meeting that we are proposing here is Charter Commission only, so it would really not be dealing with the Mill River issue at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the next time that we would be able to get back to you with any update is based upon anything we get from the town engineer and when he's able to deploy his resources to be able to go out and look at it, and I don't have a date on that yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I'll be happy to hear from you and be kept in the loop that somebody is looking at this situation, because I've lived here for 35 years, and it's one thing to accept that your basement's going to flood, but this time our whole downstairs where we live was 6 inches from flooding, and several other neighbors were in that same situation.
Yeah, and that's a big issue for all of town. All I can say is that that's what we are trying to get awareness on a town-wide level, that this is not a beach area issue only. There are rivers. Many sections of our town are subject to intense flooding and raining events, and it's something that the town needs to look at, to fund, and to explore how to mitigate. And I appreciate your comments. I appreciate any help you can have in encouraging town officials to fund explorations in these areas, because the only way these are going to be changed is if we put money into it as a town to deploy mitigation efforts against the waters. So this is not an easy thing. These are not cheap, and it's not just your area. It is all sections of town. So I hear you, but we understand it. We're putting you on the list. We are absolutely making sure that you're getting heard in this area. But right now, our next steps are to figure out how to fund these things, because the town budget obviously does not have any mitigation in for this area at this point. But we will put it on our list, and we will try to get funding in this next budget cycle. I
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay, and then I'm just going to close because I apologize to the Mill Hill Building Committee. Thank you for letting us run our meeting quickly. I'm going to try to just quickly end with Ash Creek has negotiated an agreement with the city of Bridgeport to try to do some plantings of beach grass on the sand spit that is a common shared infrastructure against the whole Ash Creek area, to do 30,000 plugs of beach grass. It would be a $40,000 budget item for the town. We are exploring right now how we can figure out how to fund that. It was obviously not in the budget. We're looking at opportunities to fund that potentially out of surplus or out of any excess operating funds, but we don't have a funding opportunity at this point. But I do believe that there is an intent to try to fund that, and Bridgeport is funding a comparable amount so that we can replant the sand spit. So with that, are there any other old or new business that may come before the board?
This is Dick. I have nothing, and I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting and turn
Do I have a second? Is Don still there? Don?
He disappeared.
I second it, and the Flint Erosion Control Board is now adjourned. Thank you, Mill Hill, for sharing our
Good night, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mill Hill.
Hey, Dick, have fun in Texas.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right,
Bye,
we're dropping
darling.
off. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.